Their time to meet with us and give us the opportunity to present what we feel is a very solid plan to resolve the issue at hand. And that's exactly what we're doing here is we want to talk about what the problem is, what the solution for the problem could be, and how it's all going to work, pretty much in a nutshell. So with that, let's circle back to the problem and basically what is it. So Ferris State University has been noticing a decline in their summer enrollment, particularly between 2012 and 2013, when the head count of students dropped by 441. And now, it's important to address this for a couple different reasons. One, 441 students, that's money walking out the door. That's the realization of it all. Next, you're paying your professors to give their time during the summer to teach the students who are still enrolled in it, and you've got to make sure it's worth it for Ferris State. They can't be losing money on this summer semester, so they want to stop the deterioration of the summer semester before it gets too large, because 441 isn't necessarily a crippling number, but it's definitely alarming for Ferris State. And now there's a lot of different reasons why maybe those students have taken the summer off now. You think about it, it's really nice out during the summertime. They don't want to be in a classroom. They don't want to be working on homework every night. They want to go out. They want to have fun. They want to go to the beach. Particularly living in Michigan, as many of them probably do, with the beaches on the east, west, north side of Michigan, it can be a distraction. And you're also looking at the blended or the online courses. There's a lot of those now these days, and I think some of the students are probably turned off by them and are a little afraid. So what we're trying to do with this project is we're trying to add value to Ferris State's summer semester, so students can see how important it is for them to be involved in it, and how they can still enjoy the outdoors and still have somewhat of a break, but still take advantage of the summer semester. So we created this to help Ferris State with their organizational profits and of course increase that summer enrollment before it deteriorates a little too far. So the importance of addressing this issue for the students aspect, it may reduce their time to their degree, it can reduce their student debt, they can maybe take less classes during the fall and winter semesters, which can help them with better grades, maybe give them a little bit more time, maybe reduce the amount of stress. They can focus on their difficult courses during the summertime. These summer semesters aren't necessarily built to take a full course load of 12 credit hours. A lot of students will take 2, so maybe they can take some of those classes that are a little bit more difficult and take them in the summertime when they're not having a full load of courses, and focus on them a little bit better and do a little bit better on them. And it can also allow students to get back on track with course numbers if they're falling behind, if they're not going to reach their targeted graduation date. And they can also pick up an extra minor or a specialization with the extra time during the summer, if that'll add value to their degree and make them more marketable once they're done with schooling. So what are we planning to do? Well, we're going to be using a multi-point marketing campaign. Basically what we're looking at is promotions, such as a summer bash, which we'll be outsourcing. We won't be handling that ourselves. We're looking at pointed marketing, and what I mean by that is we're looking at billboards in strategic locations, about 10 billboards near satellite campuses, generally the larger satellite campuses, maybe near Saginaw, Traverse City, Jackson, and then of course near the main campus in Big Rapids. We're looking at posters as well that can be put up at the satellite campuses and also at the main campus. And these posters are going to have their special graphics and special messages. And then we're also looking at a social media campaign, and that campaign can also work with the posters and billboards. And we're going to look at student testimonial videos and various other things that we can can put out there through the various platforms of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all the other ones. And of course, the other thing we're going to be looking at doing is reducing the summer tuition rate. And now what we're looking at here is a 5% decrease per credit hour. And now $65 per credit hour was the going rate in 2013. So a 5% decrease would bring that number down to $61.75. And what we're hoping for is a 2% increase in growth, but we'll get more into that in just a little bit. First, I want to talk about how our project is aligning with Ferris State's mission. And we've got it right here on the screen, and we can read it verbatim. Ferris State University prepares students for successful careers, responsible citizenship, and lifelong learning. Through its many partnerships and its career-oriented, broad-based education, Ferris serves our rapidly changing global economy and society. So how do we align with that? And I think if I go back here real quick, I think we want to focus on the prepare students for successful careers. Okay, what we're looking at here with the summer semester is helping these students graduate sooner and become more successful and apply for those job openings sooner. And also, I think there's an element to the summer semester, you know, when they do graduate and they go out and they get that job, there's not going to be a summer break in most professions. And they're going to have to get used to, you're just going to have to work during the summertime. And that's all kind of part of it. And we're going to help them in obtaining their degree. So next we want to talk about what's successful for us and how are we going to measure that. And now this is going to be on the next 3 slides of the various metrics that we're working with. I'm not going to read them all. I'm just going to kind of briefly go through them and maybe focus on the big ones. So first and foremost, we're looking at budget. Obviously the metric for that is going to be dollars. We're going to be reviewing that monthly. If something comes up and we need to review it a little more at sooner intervals, maybe every other week or so, then we can do that. Basically, we're looking at dollars spent compared to expenses yet to be covered in the remaining budget, and we really don't want to exceed that budget. Schedule, we're working on a very tight schedule, so we're looking at completion dates as the metric. We're looking at those every single week, and our goal is 100% on time. And again, we're going to look at the schedule a little bit more in depth, and you're going to see that it's a very tight schedule. We don't have a lot of time for error. So then next we've got the graphic arts, as I mentioned, with the posters, the billboards, the videos. You know, we're talking about maybe a competition for the graphic arts students, where they can create something for these billboards and for these posters, the graphics and the messages, and that can serve beneficial in a couple ways, because maybe some of these graphic arts students are students who aren't taking advantage of the summer semester, and then they get involved with the marketing for this and everything, and then it's repeating in their head as they're seeing it, as they're working on something for this. And then maybe it starts to click in their head, and then maybe we get them to come to the summer semester. So for like the competition and for some of the graphics and everything, we're looking at a pass-fail system of grading, and then a ranking of 1 through 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. All of those are looking at bi-weekly audits. Again, with the videos, it's the same kind of thing. With the student testimonials, you're looking at pass-fail, and then the ranking system 1 to 5. And then again, that competition that I was just talking about, we want about 50% of the graphic arts students involved in that, and that's how we're going to measure the success of that competition, is how many students are participating. And then with the billboards, you know, we're using that same 1 through 5 ranking, 1 being worst, 5 being the best, and we want to also focus on the amount of traffic that's going by these. You know, we can get hopefully some sort of measurement on how many cars are viewing these things, and see how effective they really are. And we're going to review those every single month. And you know, we want to send out the stakeholder survey first and foremost. We want to get ideas. The more information we have, the better off we're going to be, and that's why we're hoping for 80% participation in that. And like I said, you know, that's going to be beneficial for not only us but also Ferris State University. There's the summer bash, the promotion that I had mentioned earlier. Again, looking at the number of students who show up to that as a measure of success, we're hoping for 1,200 students. That would be ideal. I'm going to go down here to summer enrollment. Again, we're looking at the number of students who decide to participate in summer semester, and we're looking at a goal of an increase of 2%, which, looking through the 2013 numbers, a 2% increase is an increase of 112 students. And it seems like a lot, but I think if this plan comes together and it's done the way it should be done, 112 students is obtainable. And then ROI, I want to go back to that real quick. That's obviously in dollars. And here we have it listed as 50% ROI, and that's on our budget. Okay, now there's certain things that we're not going to have in our budget because those are Ferris State expenses and costs that we don't have at this time. So when you factor in those, maybe that number's a little bit lower, but for our project and for our side of the thing, we're looking at 50%. So next we want to talk about how we're going to assess the performance of everybody involved. The program manager, they're going to be evaluated for their job expertise, the quality of work, their problem solving, communication is going to be a big one, and their leadership. And we're going to use the standard corporate review template for evaluating the program manager. Excuse me. And then we're going to look at sponsor feedback, and that's going to be used in determining any bonuses. And if any section of this project is late on delivery and does not meet that date that we're going to get to here in the next couple of slides, then there's no bonus. The team members, now they're going to be evaluated by the program manager, and they're going to use the hourly performance review template. All team members, their project evaluations will be used in determining their annual performance and scores and their raise recommendations. And then an internal evaluation is going to be completed for any services that we contracted out at the completion of the contract. So again, our goals for success, again, a 2% increase in summer enrollment to the next summer. That's our goal. And again, like I had mentioned earlier, that's going to translate out to 112 students. Certainly could be daunting, but I think, again, if everything's in place and everything is done the way it should be, 112 students, it should very well be obtainable. And of course, we want to impress the major stakeholders with our professionalism, our organization, great response to feedback, and that quality final product, and making sure that the customer is satisfied with what we're giving them. And we set these goals because, again, we're trying to make Ferris State University, the company, our customer, we're trying to make them happy. And what's going to make them happy is success. And that's going to be turning the summer semesters around and get them trending in the right direction. And that's also obviously going to lead to higher return on investment and bring in more profits for Ferris State. So I've mentioned it a couple times, the schedule, the milestones that we're looking at for this, and I said earlier, we're working on a tight budget, or a tight, time budget, and we want to see this implemented in 2015, so we don't have a lot of time for error. Everything must be on time. So we're looking at July 25th, stakeholder survey should be complete, they should be sent out already. By September 15th, we're looking at the summer tuition reduction plan being submitted to the Ferris State University Executive Board. By September 29th, you're looking at the kickoff of the graphic arts competition that we mentioned with the students in the graphic arts programs. October 20th, we want to get the summer bash outsource decision finalized. We want to get that organization figured out so they can begin planning and get everything set up so they can come in next June or July. By November 1st, those student testimonial videos, we need those complete by November 1st. November 17th is the initial review of graphic arts media with project sponsor. And so that's when we're talking about with the students who have participated in the competition for the posters, the billboards, and also if we look to outsource the graphic arts to a graphic arts organization, if they've got things they've brought in and things we need to review, that's when we need all of this together, and we need to sit down and we need to review it all and pick what's going to work and what's not going to work. And then by December 1st, We want to see that billboard contract signed. As I mentioned earlier, we're looking for 10 billboards throughout Michigan in various locations that are going to be pointed towards Ferris State students on satellite campuses and the main campus. So I know I said this a couple times, our time budget, it's really tight. We don't have room for error. We're going from July 25th to December 1st. We want to see this implemented for 2015, and it can work. But again, there's no margin for error in any of this. So finally, we're going to look at the resources. What are we going to need to make this work? We need access to the marketing department in order to prepare the marketing plan and to send out emails to students. So that's maybe one thing I forgot to mention a little bit earlier is our email campaign as well. We're looking at social media, posters, billboards, a reduction in tuition, the summer bash, and an email marketing campaign. We want these students to keep seeing summer semester at Ferris State, summer semester at Ferris State, and the benefits that it's going to have for these students. Again, that decreased time for degree, decrease in student debt, all the various things that can be beneficial to them. We want them to see them repeatedly, so when it comes time to enroll for summer semester, it's in their brains and they give it more consideration, and then you hope that a majority of them, or at least a good percentage of them, take that leap and go ahead and enroll in the summer semester. And then of course we're going to need access to the graphic arts department when we're working with the competition. We need to work with the professors, and of course we can get their feedback and get the word out to the graphic arts students, regarding the competition, and get their feedback on that. And of course sometimes these graphic artists, professors, they've worked in a graphic arts business, they own a graphic arts business, and we can maybe pick their brain, get a little bit more knowledge, and maybe they can even be beneficial to us in creating something very useful for our billboards and for our posters. And so that's really what we're looking at. That's our plan. We're looking at, again, the problem, the decrease in summer enrollment. It's not terrible, but it's gonna get there if something's not done. And that's what this plan with our pointed marketing, promotions, the reduction in summer tuition, all of that's gonna help to stop the bleeding, for lack of a better term, and to hopefully turn that around, and so Ferris State can start to see a gain as early as next year. And I think, again, we stick to the budget, we stick to the time frame, and I think we're going to be able to be successful, and we're going to get Ferris State the results they're looking for. Thank you.